Hello, thank you for being here. I'm Mike Kunkle, the author of The Building Blocks of Sales Enablement. Today, I'd like to share some ideas about why Sales Manager Enablement is such an important building block. This will be a brief presentation today, so I'm going to move quickly and share a lot of information at a high level. For anyone who wants to learn more, I'll provide multiple ways to dig in further and do that. Let's get started. To set the stage, I'll start with a brief introduction to the building blocks of sales enablement. The building blocks of sales enablement is a framework of 15 parts or blocks. There are 12 core blocks in the center. These blue blocks are the various performance levers that you can push and pull to get the best possible sales results. Those 12 are tied together on the top and bottom by systems thinking and communication management, with the final block being sales support services. Now, let's take it row by row. In the central core blocks in blue, it all starts with buyer acumen, which is a deep understanding of your buyers and customers. This is the market you serve and your ideal customer profile. Who are they? What are their roles, goals, and their coin-op, or their challenges, opportunities, impacts, needs, outcomes, and priorities? This includes building great personas or buyer archetypes with the metrics that matter most, meaning how they're measured, plus emotional buying factors, the people they work with internally when buying a solution like yours, the buying process they go through or their buyer's journey, their decision criteria, and more. Having this information is the foundation for everything your sales force needs to do and everything else we do as enablers. To continue in this row of blocks, buyer acumen allows you to create buyer engagement content to attract the right buyers to you based on the problems that they have that you solve or the opportunities they face that you enable, and helps them make good decisions at each stage of their journey, eventually culminating in a purchase decision. Then in sales support content, you can build the playbooks and sales support content needed to help your reps sell to these buyers effectively. Those are the first three building blocks: buyer acumen, buyer engagement content, and sales support content. The good news is that most of the remaining blocks are more commonly recognized and don't require much explanation. The next three blocks are sales hiring, sales training, and sales coaching. We know these are critical and they blend perfectly. The third row includes your sales process, your chosen sales methodology, and sales analytics and metrics. The last three core blocks are sales technology and tools, sales compensation and recognition, and sales manager enablement. There is a lot more behind sales manager enablement than this size box would lead you to believe, but we'll get into that in a few minutes. Next, on the outside of the core blocks is communication management. This includes communication with the sales force, meaning being a conduit for them so information doesn't fly at them from 5 different directions in 5 different ways. This can get overwhelming for a sales force very quickly. It also includes the cross-functional collaboration with other departments to get aligned on who does what and who supports whom, as you all work together supporting the sales force as they support their buyers and customers. This is where the Sales Enablement Charter comes in, to ensure that everyone is rowing the boat in the same direction and communicating clearly about everything. Communication and systems thinking tie these core blocks together, but I'm going to skip systems on purpose for now to leave it for last. So next, while it's not something that's done everywhere, is sales support services. This includes things like RFP support, presentation support, research support, a deal desk, or even coaching services for managers or sellers. These are services that enablement provides or coordinates for the sales force, sometimes even with SLAs or service level agreements. I've saved the best for last with systems thinking, which is key to getting results. I'm specific about saying systems thinking to hopefully avoid confusion with computer systems, software, or automation, although those things can be used to support systems thinking. Getting smooth running systems in place is key to creating repeatable, replicable, scalable, and predictable results. But what does this mean in reality? Let's take a closer look. The systems I work with most frequently include the sales hiring system, the sales readiness system, the sales training system, the sales management system, and the sales coaching system. Now, I understand there's a lot of information on this chart, so don't try to focus on the minute details for now. Instead, note the high-level overview of the building blocks and all the various systems that support a high-performing sales force. Keep in mind that these aren't all the possible systems either, but they are the ones that I have seen create the biggest impacts and best performance. As I mentioned, this is just a quick overview to lead into the topic of Sales Manager Enablement. If you'd like to learn more, you can read The Building Blocks of Sales Enablement, which is available on Amazon. The book covers each block in more detail, as well as how to get started, and offers a few bonus chapters such as sales onboarding and performance consulting. I hope you'll find it helpful. Or explore the online learning experience, which has options for self-paced video-based learning or even adding personal virtual coaching sessions. Now, let's return to our topic of Sales Manager Enablement. Of all the building blocks that I just reviewed, there are two blocks that influence and impact almost all of the others. One is buyer acumen. This is that deep understanding of your buyers and customers. Buyer acumen influences the content you create, the training you design, the coaching your managers deliver, your sales process and methodology, and almost everything about your sales force and your go-to-market plans. The second block that has that kind of a widespread influence is Sales Manager Enablement. This will be our focus for the rest of today for the many reasons that I'll share. You know, I've often joked that if I only had $1 to spend on sales training, I'd spend 75 cents on the frontline sales managers. Let's talk about why sales manager enablement is so important. Simply put, sales managers have the greatest potential impact on the sales force for a variety of reasons. First, they are a performance lever and a force multiplier, meaning they foster sales effectiveness faster than any other way. This is true because they influence every single sales rep in your company through the way that they hire, train, coach, and manage. These frontline managers are also the frontline for change management and can drive change across their teams and influence the entire sales force. I've often said that sales enablement is really a change management job. I still believe that. That hasn't changed. But if we go one level deeper, we are really the change catalyst or change support. The frontline managers are the true drivers of change. One of the ways they do this is through effective sales coaching. Sales coaching is one of the most effective ways to improve performance, and no one is better suited to coach than the frontline sales managers to whom your sellers report. Because of their close interactions with their employees, managers greatly influence organizational culture and how employees view the company as well. Renowned management consultant Marcus Buckingham once said that employees don't leave companies, they leave their managers. The reality is a bit more nuanced, but Bad managers and toxic work cultures are two of the top reasons that people leave companies, according to multiple sources. Lack of opportunity and lack of development are also often cited, and managers play a part in both, especially with coaching and development. For all these reasons, frontline sales managers and sales enablement leaders must be partners and collaborate closely together. But even beyond partnering, the sales enablement team, as well as the company's senior leaders, must invest in enabling, developing, coaching, and supporting managers to maximize their potential and therefore maximize the capabilities and performance of the entire sales force. We must engage, enable, and empower these frontline sales managers. So, knowing all this, what should you do? As I've said, sales enablement must get managers engaged and partner closely with them. You should involve them, seek their opinions, gain their buy-in, understand their challenges and what they're trying to accomplish, and do everything you can to support them. You should also work with the senior sales leader to implement the sales management system from the Building Blocks book, which includes a sales management operating system and the embedded sales coaching system. Let's take a look at those. My book details this sales management system and what I call the sales management operating system. There's a lot to unpack here with this system and this slide, but if you take it from top to bottom in one bullet at a time, I believe the concepts are very clear. And you must start by removing any barriers to frontline sales managers engaging appropriately and effectively with their teams. It's unfortunate and often unintentional, but many organizations put so much on the shoulders of their frontline sales managers that these managers simply don't have time to fully engage with their teams, to diagnose performance, and to field train and coach to close performance gaps. This is the primary job of a frontline sales manager, yet we very often get in their way and then don't enable them to do the things on this chart and in this system as effectively as possible. It's impossible to say which building block is most important or which system is most important out of context. But based on experience, I am very comfortable saying that if you can implement this sales management system with the operating system and embedded coaching effectively, it will absolutely move the needle for your organization. At the bottom of this slide, there's a link to download a deeper presentation on this sales management system. As part of the sales management system, there is also that embedded sales coaching system that I mentioned. The coaching system includes a framework, a process, and models, all of which combine into the coaching system that will allow you to create a cadence of continuous improvement, which of course will lift sales results. And it starts by training, developing, and coaching the frontline sales managers so they can do this. Now, I know I have given you some assignments here and things to review later, but one of the questions I get asked most often is, Mike, how do I get started? The best option is to work like a physician and diagnose first before you prescribe. I wrote a newsletter article on how to get started with sales enablement and an entire ebook on that topic. It's also a chapter in the book. I realize that in the beginning, all of this might seem overwhelming. So there's an alternative if you don't want to start with the full diagnostic approach. For this alternative, I highly recommend that you ensure you have your buyer acumen correct, that you truly understand the challenges and opportunities faced by your buyers and customers. Once you have that foundation, then you can start working with your sales managers. Of course, I recommend implementing the full sales management system or at least the sales management operating system, but even if they seem like a lot to get started, then at a minimum, start by teaching coaching skills. And then set expectations for coaching and implement a regular coaching cadence and communicate those expectations clearly to your managers. You should do everything you can to support them at becoming great coaches. This is one of the best ways to get started because it helps your managers become a force for change and continuous performance improvement in your company. If I had any final thoughts, it would be this tough love advice. When starting a sales enablement program, I see a lot of people looking for the easy way. Sales enablement is not easy. Leadership, change management, and improving organizational performance are not easy tasks. My advice is don't look for the easy option. Just dive in and get started and do the hard work. If you do that, I promise you, you'll never regret it. Lastly, I want to provide some helpful resources because I know I've left you with an assignment and some work to do. In the book, The Building Blocks of Sales Enablement, these are the chapters that are most helpful for Sales Manager Enablement specifically. Chapter 13 is all about Sales Manager Enablement. Chapter 6 is about sales training, which you'll need to know to train your managers effectively. Chapter 7 is about sales coaching. You and their leaders should be coaching your managers on how to be better coaches, and they should be coaching their teams. Chapter 16 is about how to get started. It includes that full diagnostic approach, which you should at least know, even if you're starting with buyer acumen and sales manager enablement first. Then I'm providing 4 articles here for you that are related to this topic and should provide helpful detail. Lastly, I have that entire presentation on the Sales Management System overview, which you can download here at this link as well. I hope this information has been helpful today, and I applaud you for your interest in sales enablement and in working to improve sales performance at your company. Stay the course and make an impact with enablement.